So I think a lot of people think about advisory boards out of obligation. You have to, twice a year, you have to have an advisory board meeting. And so a lot of those turn into how can we update the advisory board on what we're doing. It's a lot of last minute, here's what we're doing, here's what the program's up to, do you have any questions? And that's kind of how it goes. Which is not to say that's not how mine goes sometimes, but advisory boards can be more than that. Ideally, they need to be steering committees. Ideally, they need to be coming to you with ideas of what they're seeing in industry and how you can address that in students that are coming out. You don't always get that type of feedback, but that's the ideal. Advisory boards can be used in several different ways. They can be used to source instructors. We've had quite a few situations where we have sourced instructors through advisory boards because they're our connection to industry. If we need somebody to teach a class who has experience in the industry, we're going to go to our advisory board first. And that has a benefit for advisory board members too. They can send somebody to teach for us, and now they get in there with our students and they can actually see our students in action. Let's say you have a student that's really good in the lab, but they're really a C student. It's hard for me as an instructor to recommend that to an employer, but if the employer is the instructor and they see that student's a hard worker, that may be a good fit for their business, despite maybe the academics aren't there. So there's a lot of benefits in that regard to getting advisory board members into your shops as much as possible, including through teaching. So one of our kind of main goals of our department has been to close the gap between students and employers. And we do that through what we call a transportation career fair. It's very, very focused. It's just automotive, collision, and diesel students and automotive, collision, and diesel employers. And it takes place in our lab space and during class time. And we do this to really kind of make our students more comfortable so that they can connect with the employers in a less formal fashion. Make it just a more casual event. We find our students are more likely to engage with employers, which has made it a lot more successful. Another way we use our advisory board is through our accreditation process. So our advisory board actually reviews our program. They go through all of the standards that are required for accreditation, and they do a bit of a self-evaluation of that to make sure we're living up to those standards. Then when we have our main evaluation every 5 years, our on-site evaluation where our accreditation agency comes in to see, our advisory board serves on that as well. So they will actually help do some of that work supporting the accreditation agency as they go through our on-site inspection. They'll go through our documents, they'll go through our labs, talk to our students, talk to employers, so that our accreditation agency knows that we're living up to their standards as well. So the advisory just plays a huge, huge role in that to make sure that we're maintaining our accreditation.